Good morning and welcome to our AGM for 2024. This one is a special AGM for us because we are celebrating 20 years of changing lives at the Pebbles Project. I am Lee Adams, so welcome again to our guests. We decided to do the AGM online this year only because we wanted our supporters around the world to join us. A special word of welcome to you. We've got quite a packed agenda as always. I'll be handing over to Sophia later on to do an overview of last year. Peter Koch will go through our financial report. We'll do a bit of reflection of the 20 years and then some special mentions, and our questions and comments will be combined with our thank you at the end. So looking forward to hearing from you. Just some administration. We note the apologies received from our guests that cannot join us today. We sent out our AGM minutes for 2023, which need to be accepted. You'll shortly see a poll that will be sent out. Could you please indicate acceptance through the poll? Great, thank you so much. And then also we just want to confirm the Board of Trustees for 2024. It was myself, Lee Adams as chairperson, we had Zanelli as vice chair, Peter Koch treasurer, Peter Blaine treasurer, and then Peter Blaine trustee, Lucy Warner trustee, and then Sophia trustee and CEO. Just a reminder of the Pebbles values again, also values that are not just on a poster but really entrenched in the staff of of this organization. Absolutely amazing. The values of courage, commitment, compassion, and integrity. And then also the work that we do at Pebbles, just a reminder that it is aligned to our sustainable goals. You'll note that it's sustainable goals aligned to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 11. I now hand over to Sophia to do an overview.
Okay, thanks Lee. I'm just going to, you can see on the screen our year at a glance. This is in our annual report. So most of you know I'm Sophia Warner, I'm the CEO and the founder of Pebbles, and really also celebrating our 20 years this year. So it's been a hectic year. The last year we also tried to pack in 12 months worth into 10 months because we had shortened our financial year, and there were some significant achievements last year. We raised just around about 38 million rand, which is quite exceptional. I want to thank everybody who works for the organisation, because every person who works for Pebbles plays an integral part, whether it is someone who is cleaning our workspace and making our workspace beautiful, someone who's driving our beneficiaries, someone who's working in the finance team, every single department in the organisation. They're valued and they are important for the whole organisation to work. There's not really any one element of the organisation that is more or less important than anybody else. So we value everybody who has helped us achieve these goals for last year. Throughout 2023, we had about 123 people were employed, and we had a record number of staff celebrating their 5-year, 10-year, and even 15-year anniversaries of the organisation. So I think when people are happy where they are working, they tend to stay. So that's a good sign. Turnover has been relatively low, and often the vacancies, you'll have seen vacancies advertised, but they're often created by internal movement of staff. So when a new programme starts up, we often get internal movement of staff moving, which then creates another vacancy happening. The management staff have participated in monthly diversity training workshops, aiming at promoting unity and a sense of belonging within the organisation. We have all learned a huge amount, and I think it's taken Pebbles, or is taking Pebbles still, to a very different level. We also have now started a new online recruitment system, which significantly simplifies the recruitment process, which has saved a lot of time and energy. Our beneficiaries have risen from last year, and that's really only because we have added in the Clan William health beneficiaries, children under the age of 18, which has boosted the numbers. So going forward, we will be including all of the children who are in our educational centres and the health children that we also support. Our numbers here for the facilities and the staff have remained fairly stable. So we're working with 52 different centres on different farms. And we have about 120 practitioners who come in for training every second month. So those numbers have remained consistent and hopefully will again for the next year as well. I'm going to pass over now to Peter Koch. We're going to turn the video off and Peter will then come in with the financial report.
Hi, good morning all. It gives me great pleasure to present the financial information for the 10 months period. I would say in advance the role has been made very easy for me, given the sterling work done by the financial team led by Michael Peterson, and the senior management team as a whole have been very strong, as you'll see. Comes through not just in what Sophia has been telling you about, but also in the numbers. So just to start, as Sophia said, we've changed the financial year from end of February to end of December, just to align with the academic year. So we're only reporting on a 10-month period. So if you look at the balance sheet again, you can see an organization that is in very strong financial health. The cash balance there sitting at 16 million, which effectively represents half a year's worth of expenditure. So organization is in a very strong state. The accumulated surplus of around 14 million is earmarked for projects that are ongoing, and so that is all committed to be spent in the year ahead. The increase in cash balance over from the last reporting period is primarily due to a large corporate donation that has been received for a 3-year project that kicked off in this year. If you look at our income breakdown, Sophia mentioned we've received around 38 million for the year. That includes the UK donations. This is just the South African income you can see here. That large increase in the corporate donations is what I was referring to for the money received from Dow for the Soap for Hope project, which Sophia will tell you a bit more about later on. The decrease in individual donations isn't something to be worried about. That's what most individual donors give their contributions at the end of the tax year, January, February. So that's not included in this reporting period. So you'll see that pick up again in our next report. So again, very blessed, and a lot of the donors that you see there are recurring annual donors. This is just a bar chart of the income received over the years. You can see the rapid growth to where we're relatively stable now. The drop for this year is not anything to be alarmed about, because again, just a reminder that it's for a 10-month period. Sticking with income, just to show you a pie chart of the breakdown. You can see almost half of it coming from trusts and foundations, and what's very pleasing is a continued increase in our own income generation. That 21% you can see there on the bottom left, coming from clinic fees, school contributions from parents, meals sold from the kitchen, service fees paid by the farms, as well as the sale of items such as second-hand clothing and raffles. The UK income, the 11% you can see at the top there, that was around 3.8 million in this 10-month period. Okay, here's just an illustration of some of our main donors over the past 10 months. Many of them you will have seen before. They are regular donors. And we also want to obviously give thanks to the individual donors who also contribute significantly and on a consistent basis. So thank you very much to all of you that are continuing to support the work that Pebbles is doing. Apart from the cash donations, we also receive significant contributions in kind. We just listed a number of the range of variety of donations that do come in that have been valued at just under 1.3 million for the period. And you can see the diversity that is used either within the centres or for the food preparation or to contribute contributions towards raffles. Here's a breakdown of some of the expenditure. Just wanted to point out a few of the items there. You can see in red arrows there was an increase in the early adulthood program, which is due to the second youth development centre opening in Amanus, as well as the growth of the EAP program, the early adulthood program. The protection services, which is our social workers, we've decided to move that into under the health services, so that expenditure has just been incorporated under health. And you can see the new project that Sophia's going to talk about, the Soap for Hope project, which has kicked off in this year, this period. Again, just a pie chart to show you the breakdown of the expenditure. You can see again more than half of it going towards our educational programs. The other point to show is the admin expenses. People often look at overheads to see what proportion of expenditure is going towards that. It's currently sitting at around 14%, which is down from about 15% last year. So that's a slight improvement. And salaries are, just as a note, are allocated to programs, so they're distributed across those different pie chart elements. Okay, so that's it for the financial report. It just leaves me to ask for two acceptances or two polls. The first is, can we please accept the financial report as presented? Okay, thanks very much, Clayton. It's just confirmed that you've accepted that, so thank you very much for that. Then the second poll is to accept our auditors. Do we want to continue with the same auditors for the next financial year? So please confirm if you're in agreement with that. Thanks very much, Clayton. It's confirmed that you've accepted that. So yeah, just a final point from my side. Again, I'm amazed at every meeting at just the financial sustainability of Pebbles. The combination of the fundraising team, the operations team, the senior management, everyone is continues to show an amazing amount of energy in what they do, and I think you'll see it come through. The numbers only tell one side of the story. Sophia's going to take us through a number of the achievements now, which I think will just confirm the amazing work that Pebbles is doing in our communities. I'll hand you back over to Sophia now to take you through some of that.
Okay, back to me. Thank you, Peter, for the financial report. It's always a relief when it's done. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to run through some of our key achievements for this year. One of the most exciting projects we started with our Soap for Hope project, So we were invited by Dow, a company based up in Joburg, to apply for their Business Impact Fund project. And the grant was awarded for a 3-year period. So we received all of the money in the last financial year for this year and the following 2 years. It's a nice partnership. The major contributors to the project are Dow, who's the funding, Diversey, which is the company with the hotel partners and from where we receive the soap donations, and then local hotels where we receive used soap, and then Pebbles is the last partner in that partnership. There are 3 elements really to the project. It's recycling soap, recycling used soap from hotels where maybe you're staying in a hotel and you have the little small bar of soap that you use once or twice, and then that would be thrown away and end up in landfill. So by those soaps being donated to Pebbles, it saves the soap from going into landfill. And we also then are able to create jobs and offer work experience opportunities and income generation for the young adults who have come through our early adulthood program. Then the last element for the project is the promotion of health and hygiene and the prevention of disease in farming communities. We have a health promoter who goes out to the farms, and she takes soap for distribution in the communities and teaches hand washing. And we have actually seen a decrease in the number of visits to the clinic, which we would like to attribute to the soap project, helping, improve hygiene on the farms. Another exciting thing that Peter mentioned earlier was the opening of our Youth Development Centre in Hermanus. There was an old onion drying shed at the Hemlanada Education Project site, and we were approached again by the Rotary Club of Hermanus, who previously renovated the old building, the old cow shed, for an ECD building. Now they wanted to renovate the onion shed and turn it into a youth development centre for children, young adults from the valley. So it was funding received from the Rotary Club of Hermanus, the McFarlane Family Foundation, Rotary Club Deutschland and Rotary Club York. So it was a brilliant combination of funding that came from a number of donors. I'd like special thanks to Ian Wallace, who championed the project, and also to Carolyn and Salome at Creation Wines, just for their endless support with the project down there. The Youth Development Centre has gone through now its first phase, and we are busy with interviews for learners who are going to be joining, or students who are going to be joining for the next phase. The Boyplay Community Learning Centre was a partnership between Bosman Adama Wines, Pebbles, and the Stichting Garcia Foundation in the Netherlands. They came up with financial support with additions from Herman and Lydia, Isabel and Moritz, and Peter and Ilse Burema. So they contributed towards the purchase of this beautiful building that you see at the top of the screen there. They are 2 classrooms, 2 huge classrooms. There's an office space, there's a therapy room, and one of the bigger buildings has been subdivided inside for 2 classrooms. So this is for ECD children, early childhood development of children, and some after-school club activities as well. You can see the team of donors down there as well in the picture. So a huge thank you, as always, to Paul and Yolanda for driving this, and for always being able to rally up friends and family to come in on board as well. We were lucky to receive 2 vehicles last year. One was donated from Wine Affairs Scandinavia. They sponsored the caddy, and we use the caddies, the staff use the caddies for when they're going out to the farms to see children or to do therapy or to teach. And then the big bus, the 23-seater bus, was donated from Iwaini, who are the new owners of Iliera. And we use that bus for taking the practitioners for training, transporting learners, and parents and staff. So it's used on a daily basis. We look out for the bright, colourful bus on the roads. So a huge thank you to GCF and Iwaini for that bus. So Lubanzi have been a donor since 2017, and in 2021 they took over the sponsorship of the Mobile Learning Centre, which supports predominantly children with special educational needs. Our team of occupational therapists go out on the bus and visit the farms and offer therapy for the children. So the bus was rebranded in 2023 and given a whole new lease of life, thanks to Lubanzi. Liesl Allers, who is one of our fundraisers, she established the Pebbles Thrift Shop in 2022, which was based at the Co-Create Hub in Stellenbosch. We've since then moved the shop to our own venue at our offices in Villiers last year. The thrift shop has raised nearly 25,000 rand since it started. So thank you to all the people, friends, supporters, family who've donated second-hand clothing, because every single little item then generates income for Pebbles. So thank you so much. So every year we acknowledge certain Pebbles staff or beneficiaries who have excelled in some way. Many of these awards are in memory of a special person or to honour key contributors to Pebbles. In previous years, we've awarded the Eugene Isaacs Award in memory of young Eugene from Bellevue Farm, who tragically died too early, and the Joe Clifton Award in memory of my friend Joe, who died 19 years ago, and the Andrew Fredericks Award in memory of our wonderful Pebbles driver who died in 2013. So those three awards are in memory of somebody who has passed away, and they are for various things, examples of leadership, overall achievement, or character awards. What is lovely is Eugene Isaacs' family come along and Andrew Fredericks' family come along, and they present the awards on the night, which is a very special moment for both them and for us. And then last year we added 3 new awards to recognise Hillebrand Gorey for 19 years of support from that company, and also to celebrate Mr. Lawrence Graff, OBE, and his enormous contribution to our work. And then the staff added the Sophia Warner Award, which was added by them and awarded to one of our young adults, Ernestine. So I just want to congratulate all of our award winners. It's a prestigious evening that we have, giving those awards out, and they offer quite a significant encouragement for the children. And then I mentioned Liesl before. She has been busy working in the last 2 or 3 months, busy with the filming and editing of an impact film called Kindness. And it is a documentary short film that explores the impact of Pebbles. And through interviews with beneficiaries and with me, viewers can witness stories of how a single act of kindness creates a ripple effect of positivity, proving that one person, one dream, and one heartfelt gesture can change countless lives forever. So we're busy in the final stages of editing and finalising the soundtrack for the film, and Liesl will be entering it into various local and international film festivals. We will be screening the film towards the end of the year in November, and everybody will be invited to come and see it, and then we will also make it available online. So thank you to the beneficiaries and the staff who participated, and thank you to Liesl for the many, many hours and blood, sweat and tears that the film has taken. So now this is the fun bit, looking back over 20 years, and I have been through old DVDs, I've been through old CDs of photos and tried to kind of remember everything that we have achieved over the years, and thought, well, we'd just have a quick glance back, and it really puts into perspective how much has been achieved by the team at Pebbles. These were the founding trustees, all of us looking terribly young, with no grey hairs, very few wrinkles and considerably fewer kilos. But we started off the organisation 20 years ago, and this team was the leading team. You'll see there Anna is still very involved with the organisation as our photographer. And we remain in contact with some of the other trustees as well. But this was the team that started it all, were responsible for coming up with the idea in the first place. In 2003, it was really just me and Lucy, my sister, obviously. So the idea started there with the 2 of us. And then 10 years later, I think we had about 20 staff members in that photo. And then if you look at the staff photo at the bottom for 2024, it's my favourite photo ever of the staff with all the bright colours. And it does signify who we are as a team. But I think there were probably about 110 staff members in that photo. So it just shows how the organisation has grown. I know it's going to grow a little bit more in this present year, but hopefully we will then also just stabilise a bit and just carry on with what we're busy with. So one thing that Pebbles became known for in the early days was our love of a good party. And we've held some successful fundraising events over the years, many of them sponsored by our loyal donor Hillebrand Gorey. We had a couple of events in the Shark Tank in the aquarium. We've had a jazz night. We abseiled down Table Mountain. That was probably the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life. And we have celebrated Pebbles through rock music, through a little bit of gambling, through some hula dancing, and as I mentioned, the aquarium. So people got to know Pebbles through the parties and managed to contribute that way. And each event would bring in probably about R250,000, so they were significant. As we're all getting a little bit older, those parties are a little bit less frequent. But we are looking forward to next year's event to tie in with Cape Wine 2025. So I think because we haven't had a party for a few years, maybe it'll be a big one next year. Okay, I'm just going to run you through some significant infrastructure that we have accumulated over the 20 years. In 2014, the Sipler Foundation sponsored the clinic building for us in Stellenbosch. And so that services the Stellenbosch farms and then offers outreach health services to communities. It still looks almost as good as it was in 2014. It has aged very well. And then in the health programme, we have added now the mobile health bus sponsored by Twinings in 2021. So that is based up with Lene and Patrick up in Clanwilliam and offering support and health services to the Rooibos tea communities. So that's our health programme and how that has grown. Prior to 2014, we didn't offer any health services at all. And now I think we really have addressed a number of issues within the farming communities that is health related. The relationship between Pebbles and the Facet Foundation started 10 years ago when I asked for a donation of 40 t-shirts. The response was that they would like to consider maybe a slightly larger project than 40 t-shirts. And it has resulted in 10 years of funding for a fleet of 7 mobile support vehicles, offering computer classes, maths tutoring, a book library, life skills, and a social work and wellness screening bus. So those buses now are spread out in the Stellenbosch area and the Citrusdal area, and they rotate around the farms with the team of specialist teachers and tutors and occupational therapists and medical staff, social workers. And they offer services in the vehicles, which is a unique way of addressing some challenges. Our kitchen was built in 2019 with funding from the Garcia Foundation and the Buddha Mensa. And our considerable achievement was during lockdown. As soon as we had COVID lockdown, over 1 million meals were distributed to farm and informal settlement communities, which was a major milestone for us and funded considerably the majority from the Garcia Foundation. So I want to say thank you to Dominic, who designed and oversaw the building of the kitchen back then and who successfully managed it for 4 years until he left earlier this year. So it's now been passed into safe hands of Thelma, who's going to take it forwards, and we continue to feed all of the Pebbles children, plus a large or growing number of other NGOs as well. Right, and in 2016, we started the project in the Hemelanada with just a small early childhood development centre and an after-school club. And then in 2019, this expanded to open the Pebbles Academy, which is a primary school for children of the valley. The parents have got to work or live in the Hemelanada Valley in order to access the school. So we've got approximately 120 children from 3 months up to 13 years, and then they go to local secondary schools after that. The buildings, a lot of the buildings were sponsored by a company called Freudenberg, and we have also then had other donors coming on board. You can see the donor board there of companies that support this project. This isn't relating to the previous year, but we would like to welcome Johan van Tonda, our new principal, who started at the beginning of the month. He was thrown immediately into the deep end, having to cope with the bridge that was washed away in the storm, having to relocate the entire school to temporary accommodation. So they are finally back on site, Johan, hang on in there. It is going to get easier, but we are very happy that you've joined us to head up the school there now in the Hamlinata. So this is a picture of some of our past beneficiaries. This was my favourite slide to put together for the presentation, because it's looking at the young adults who've come through our programme. Some of the learners there have been with Pebbles for the whole 20 years since we started. They started off in an ECD centre as babies, and they are now successful young adults. So some of them have walked the entire journey with us. Many of them are interning at Pebbles or even employed by Pebbles. We've got some admin interns, we've got an intern in the book library, we've got an intern in one of the facilities, and someone else helping with the kitchen, and we also have a social auxiliary worker intern. So what we're hoping to be able to do in the future is to create more internship opportunities, more work experience opportunities, so that we can really launch those young adults into their futures. Some of the other young adults in those photos have already spread their wings, and they're now successfully living their best lives, and we wish them luck with their future. So in the next 20 years, this slide will have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos of youngsters who've been through Pebbles. This makes me happy. This is the best thing about the job. So some special mention. Every year it is the same special mentions, because it is the same people who year in, year out are supporting Pebbles. So I'd like to thank Villiera and the Greer family, and now also passing the baton on to the new owners of Villiera, GCF and Iwaini, who've been so happy to continue to build on our relationship with the farm. They've welcomed us. They gave us a welcome gift with them coming to the farm, which is the wrong way round, but was very appreciated. And so we look forward to a strong future ahead on the same farm, but with new owners. And thank you for your support. The Pebbles board, I have here Lee and Peter. So a big thank you to them, and other Peter, who I know will be watching from home, and Zanelli up in Joburg. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. I need the guidance and the expertise of the team of the trustees to keep us on track. Lucy, you get a special mention, because this is 20 years that you've stood by my side and given me support and love and guidance, and the odd stern word and the odd suggestion of how to move forwards. But you have been my rock throughout the whole 20 years, and I really appreciate that. My senior management team, that's Esty, Michael and Coulson, who's our new HR manager. We make an incredible team. I also want to acknowledge Angela and Sam, who left the organisation last year, and they were part of the senior management team. Thank you to them, and looking forward, thank you to Esty, Michael and Coulson for being there by my side now. I'm not getting emotional, I'm not going to cry, it's just my croaky voice. So then I also want to thank our loyal donors and people who've been sponsoring the organisation or donating to the organisation for years. I know there are a number of people who are watching now who have been involved right from the very beginning. I think 20 years ago, our very first donation, we had two early donations. One was for 400 Rand from Tim James, and one was, I think, 600 Rand from Angela Lloyd. So those were our very first donations that we received to start the organisation off. And now 20 years down the line, we're a very different picture from where we were. I want to thank our volunteers and our interns who also contribute free of charge. We don't pay them, and they bring their expertise, whether they're coming from overseas or locally, and share their skills with us. And then of course the fabulous team, which I've mentioned, the staff team, most of whom are online now watching. Thank you to all of you. You all play such an important part, you know that. We also every year have to thank our friends and families. Even when new staff start, they always manage to drag in their friends and their families to get involved, either as donors or contributors in some way, or help out, volunteer. So when you join Pebbles, you and your family join Pebbles as well. And then to the local businesses that support us and our media partners, and they're the ones that share our story. We've had a lot of attention in the media with the opening of the soap project. And so I want to thank those people as well for sharing the story out in the world. And then our partner farms who allow us onto their farm and are good partners in creating an opportunity for the children on the farms. And then our partner NGOs, we work with a lot of other non-profit organisations or other organisations in the area who offer their skills and expertise that we couldn't do this. So that brings me to the end of the review of the last 20 years. I want to say thank you to everyone who's played a part in the Pebbles story, and just let's look forward to the next 20 years.